How you guys doing? I wanted to take you on a quick process, the quick process that we do on how we process our birds, the ones that I call, and just how to process a bird in general. But this bird in particular is a game fowl. Game birds. These are Doc Robinson. They're colts. They came out a little too small, and this is one of the reasons why I let them grow. I let them get of age in order for me to be able to butcher them and eat them. I feel like if you let them grow to a certain age, and then you get rid of them, you throw them away, it's kind of a waste. So we just butcher them and we process them and we eat them. So first of all, you want to start with boiling a pot of water. Once I'm not gonna show how we put them out, but you basically get a pot of boiling water. Once the bird's already dead, you just dip it in the pot, and the feathers they come off real easy. You can see here. All you got to do is peel them off, and they come right off. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video real quick while I keep on plucking the feathers off of this bird. And once we're done, I'm gonna show you how to open them up. And well, not how to open them up, but how to process them. Pretty much a quick preview on how we do it. So hold on, let me pause it. All right, we done plucked all the feathers out this chicken, out of this hen. We have 3 in total. I wanted to also show the process of the plucking, but it takes too long, especially being three birds. So after you pluck them, you want to get a lighter or a pretty good torch and burn there's a bunch of little it's like tiny little hairs that are left behind. You want to burn those off, and once you burn them off, you want to go ahead and give it a good wash. You grab some antibacterial soap or just any kind of dish detergent soap. Just water it, dilute it with some water, and just scrub it. Make sure you scrub it real good. And once you have them all cleaned up, we'll go to the processing part. All right, next step I do is I cut the toenails, because we like to keep the chicken feet. That way we get a bunch of them, we freeze them up, and then we make a good bone broth. We don't let anything go to waste. These are packed with collagen, so make sure you keep them. Don't discard them. You can make them into doggy treats, but we take advantage of the collagen that they're packed with. Make sure you dip them in the boiling water too. That way you'll take that thin layer of skin, and also the layer of nails come right off, but you also want to cut that off. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them up with this scissors here. Sorry, I'm showing my kitchen sink. We did it inside. We were gonna do it outside, but it's getting kind of cold out there. We're supposed to have some freezing temperatures by Thursday, so it's getting a bit chilly out there. And plus, you don't want to get your hands wet and cold. So I'm gonna pause the video. Once I get the legs cut off, I'll put them on the side and I'll show you. So you can see my toe punch that I did on this one. These were both right. That's how I differentiate what brood fowl they're coming from. So you want to go ahead and cut the toenails like that. Just grab some scissors or with some knife. I like the scissors, it works real good. Also, there's this piece here by the wing, by the chicken wing. You could go ahead and cut that out too. It's kind of sharp on this game birds especially. They have like a nail up there, pretty gnarly, and it's sharp, so you won't want to get cut. There we go. And you just cut them off. Okay, guys, so I went on and split this 3 hands. I was gonna get a hand. I was gonna do a liver comparison. I'm still gonna do it later on, but I just wanted to take a opportunity while I was butchering this birds to show you how good the livers look and how all my birds, how you can take advantage of the meat from these game birds. A lot of people don't like to eat them, but trust me, they're real good. It's worth it. We're gonna weigh it. We're gonna put it on the scale, see how much meat we have. First thing you want to do is get some scissors. I really recommend some scissors over a knife anytime, any day of the week, especially when you're trying to split the breast. All you do is, I mean, obviously I already split this, but all you try to do is you find a cavity up here. You start cutting the meat. Don't cut the bone yet. You start cutting the meat. That way you could see, you could sort of make a line of where you're gonna cut it with the scissors, and then you go in with the scissors. There's a, what would that be? The wishing bone. Mm-hmm. And then you just slide your scissors in there, and you start cutting down. And you already have the line marked with the meat, so you just cut the bone all the way down. Once you cut it all the way down, you want to make sure. I'm gonna flip this bird this way. You want to make sure you cut around the anus, because you don't want to have no excrement in your meat. So what you want to do is you want to cut around the anus, just the skin, only the flesh. That way, I like doing this because whenever you're pulling if you don't do that, you're pulling the guts from here. You normally pull them from the heart down. And it creates pressure, and then you will see some of the excrement come out. But that's the reason why I do it like this. That way I'll start pulling from here as opposed to the other side. That way you can have real clean meat. All you gotta do is dig your fingers in there, right? And then you start pulling down on it. Let me just show you this livers real quick. And the gut fat. There's hardly any gut fat in there. You see, these livers are they're bright red. All of them are the same size. Same size. They're not swollen, they're not spotted, discolored. They're bright red. Gizzard, there's a little bit of fat around the gizzard, but not much. This is very important. You don't want to have fat on your birds because it causes problems down the road. You want to keep them, these are all free ranged, by the way. Sorry about the camera. But yeah, like I was showing, there's hardly any fat in these birds, and you want to keep the fat off of their gut, their intestines, and their liver. Wish I had one, but I don't feed any grains to my birds. Like I said, I feed them grain during the molt season and during the cold winter time. That way, like I said on the previous video, the corn will produce some heat. And it'll create heat, and the gizzard will try to break it down, and it's sort of like a reaction. I guess it's just the way it's breaking it down, the process that it takes to break down the corn. That's what produces the heat and keeping the birds warm during the winter. Now, I've been starting to add corn to my birds. But throughout the summer, they didn't have any. Only through the molt season, but hardly any fat on it, which is good. You don't want fat on them. You want a little bit of fat on them, obviously, but you don't want the carbs to accumulate and load up your birds with carbs. You want healthy livers like this. This is an opportunity that I take also. This is one of the reasons why I let my birds grow, and till they hit around 6 months or till they're big enough. That way I could process them and I could eat them. And then I take advantage while I'm doing that. I look at their organs. Depending on my breeding practices, I can also notice how big the heart gets, how their organs are doing. I'm no vet, but just a visual observation. I have noticed some birds they'll have spotted liver, or they'll have liver disease. Especially before I switched to all pellet, I would add corn, you know, because I would try to cut down on the feed cost back when it was cheap. And I noticed a lot of my birds they had an excessive amount of fat around the liver, and this ones don't. Also, I would add a bunch of supplements because I wanted my birds to be healthy, and I noticed their liver will have a bunch of spots on them. These birds don't have any, none of them. All three of them are clear. And this is the bile I was talking about. Sometimes whenever you feed a bunch of carbs to your birds, or if they're grain fed, you will notice the bile sac, it'll be a lot bigger. This is a perfect size for the liver. You'll see it. Inflamed, swollen liver, and the bile sac would be really big. This is perfect. Now I'm gonna finish this process of these birds. And okay, make sure you get some cold water running too, not warm water, cold water. I wanted to show you how to take the crop off. Grab your scissors and cut a line all the way to the top of the chicken. That way you'll be able to get the track out. You get underneath the crop. Make sure you don't tear it open. You don't want any of that food on your meat. You want to pull out the track all the way up. There we go. Perfect. Tear it off from here. Perfect. And like I said, you got to start from the bottom. That way you don't have any excrement on your meat. Start pulling from up here. Pull it out. Voila. Rinse all that excess blood out. Perfect. And then you start cutting up your pieces. I already have this piece over here cut up, the liver. And then the gizzard up here. Check out this gizzard. It's not bad at all. It still works. Still small. All you gotta do is cut it sideways. Like so. Perfect. And now I'm not gonna be able to do it with this gloves. There we go. This is what it was eating up here. Back to the gizzard. We have a healthy gizzard. Not too much fat on it, just enough. You got a perfect size heart. And check out the fat on it. There's barely any fat on it. It's not too much. I've seen some. When I used to feed them grain, you would see fat all around the liver.
The heart.
The heart, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. The heart. So we'll finish. That's the intestines. Perfect liver on this side. Perfect heart, perfect gizzard. We're gonna finish all this three over here, and then we'll walk you step by step on how to process the rest of the chicken. All right, so this is pretty much, you can leave it whole. We get the giblets on this side. Gizzards, liver. Check out those healthy, bright red livers. A little bit of fat, but not much. Okay, so there you have it, folks. Don't throw away your culls. Eat them, inspect them internally, and check out your breeding and feeding practices as you're doing that. That's a good opportunity for that. Also, good eating. I'm gonna weight this. I'm gonna put this birds on the scale real quick. Okay, it's about 5 pounds and 5.5 pounds. Now these are no broilers, guys. These are game birds, and the reason why I'm culling them is because they came out a bit too small. So I kept the bigger ones, but the small ones, this is what I did with them. You can see that's not including the organs. We have our chicken feet up here. We're gonna make a good broth with that. That's gonna give us a lot of collagen. Also, we have our gizzard and liver up here, and hearts. You can make some stuffing, or you can stuff them. But yeah, that's it. This is how you keep your family fed. You can keep your family fed like this, and it's healthy. And trust me, another thing I wanted to mention about game birds, they're when you free range them, they are very nutritious. They're not like your free range birds that you buy at the store. It's not the same thing. Truly free range bird will forage. Your broilers are not foragers. Your heritage breeds, they are not really good foragers. They're okay, but not. They don't come when if you have a competition with this game birds and any other heritage breed, these birds will win by a mile. Everything they eat is what they're supposed to eat. So you're have in mind that you have some pretty nutrient packed meat. Another thing why I eat game bird too, you could taste it. It tastes a lot different. I really like it. It's some of my favorite, best tasting chicken in my opinion. And yeah, enjoy. Think about getting yourself some game birds. Really important to add to your farm. Really good eating. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked the video, learned a little bit on how to process your own chickens. It's not hard. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to get this done. I mean, we've been doing it for a while, and when I first started doing it, it wasn't really a big deal. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. You can follow the sorry, I kind of froze for a little bit. The anatomy of a bird. Anyways, hope you guys have a nice day. Thanks for watching.